legitimately making positive change in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's because of people's... I don't want to say if it's because of their insecurities, but that's the only word that I think describes it best. I think that the people who are afraid of the Me Too movement, I think they have something to hide. You know,
I think if you are one to very aggressively and very actively like fight against this movement and speak out to it, like, you need to check yourself. Yeah,
I think so too. And again, I'll bring up, I know I said I wasn't going to, but we're just talking about this one because it's like right now. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, overall, the movement is so important, and I think that I think it's going to be really interesting to see the next couple years how this whole thing plays out with these two. But here, most recently, you hit it.
Yeah. So where we are now is there's now a lawsuit from Johnny Depp,
and this is in the past 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. So he is now suing for defamation, $50 million case. And he is claiming that he has a large collection of video evidence of him being attacked.
Yeah.
And that's where we are as of today.
Yeah. It's really because right now the case is apparently it's super tight-lipped on what evidence he really has, any sort of descriptions of the videos as well.
I don't think we will see a lot of it. I don't, if any.
There are a few leaks that have happened. Mm-hmm. There is some videos of him with, some damage to his face. Yeah. It's just really interesting, though, because I think, too, and speaking to it from Amber Heard's side, we don't know if that was in self-defense, and I think, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
I think... as we started the episode, it's important to believe people when they come forward. But now, the reason we're talking about this is because it is a butting of heads at this point. Yeah. Something I read recently from Johnny Depp's lawyer, it was basically like, he doesn't need $50 million. He's doing this to, like, clear his name so that he can just get on with his life and continue acting and continue doing what he loves, right. and to just kind of walk away from it. And it's because he's so passionate about, again, this is still all what the lawyer was saying, just like with like Fantastic Beasts, like he loves those films. Yeah. And he wants to continue to be a part of it. And in his eyes, he has done nothing wrong and believes that she is in the wrong. And I don't want to say this a money thing too, but like Fantastic Beasts tanked. Yeah. It made its money, but critically it got a bad rap. And I think that's because of Depp's involvement. I think people went into it and they were like, fuck Johnny Depp. Yeah. Because of that guilty until proven innocent mindset. And then it kind of spiraled, and I think now he just wants to clear his name. It just depends on... It's just interesting to see where it's going to end up after everything is settled. After all the evidence comes to light, and it's kind of... It's bonkers.
Yeah, honestly, it's crazy. Wild. It's been... Like, I had not really followed any of this or really heard anything until recently we started talking about it. And once the newer information started coming out, we started talking about it and kind of, wanting to do this episode. And so I've been reading up on it, and it's like I had no clue that all this shit was going down the whole time. Yeah. But I don't know, like even if, it comes out the claims were false and stuff, I don't necessarily think that there's...
About Johnny Depp or... sorry, because both have
false claims on Amber Heard's side that he was not...
Attacked by her?
Attacking her or anything like that. I don't think that necessarily clears 100% of the fault on any side. No matter what, it's still a very sloppy relationship. It's still very,
Sure.
Both are in the wrong at some point.
Just imagine being married to Johnny Depp. Just in general.
I feel like it's a lot of drugs.
I feel like he has some pretty bad BO. Just looking at him, I just,
He just looks like he's dirty.
Looks like a dirty man.
Whew.
A stinky man.
Here's what I'm going to say.
That was the only joke you're getting all episode, folks. We're going back to serious now.
It's just like, it's very strange to try and like navigate this kind of thing, because I know that there are, you know, now that this is out, there are gonna be people that are just attacking the Me Too movement. We've already seen it. Even before this, there were those people. But now this is going to, you know, give them fuel to really like attack anyone that comes out later on and says that things that happens. And a lot of people, you know, that are on the receiving end of claims and such like that now have I don't want to say that it's legitimate, but in their minds at least will feel as though they have a foothold to turn it around and attack their accuser and try and really push down the people that have fought for this and that have suffered from all these things, and that does not sit well with me.
Yeah, even before the movement, you know, just the invalidation that is happening now of things that happened 25 years ago that need to be talked about. I think it's, you know, I think that the dialogue is shifting and it's changing for the better, and situations like these only add more gray area to something that is already muddy. The Me Too movement is not muddy. It's cut and dry. People deserve to be heard. But when I say that situation is muddy, or this kind of cultural thing is muddy, is because you have so many people. It's just it's kind of like, this comparison may seem weird, but it's kind of like fake news, like this, like from like Donaldino Trumperino when he talks about like fake news, and you have that idea that what you are seeing is fake and nothing can change it. Nothing is going to make you not believe what you're seeing, even though the facts are there. Yeah. So and I say that about, like, let's look at the situation before the lawsuit with Johnny Depp, right? You had guys and girls that refused to believe that Johnny Depp could do anything wrong. Right. Because they idolize him. Right? And then this comes out and they're like, no, that's not true. There's no, you know, that's not true. And so then, and it is building on what you said, when the suit came forward on his side, you had those people like, see what I told you? Like, it is false, and anything associated with that movement is false. And it's just such a muddy thing to talk about, and it's super difficult. It's hard. And that's why we're talking about it, is because I think it's important. I think it's important to talk about, especially like the things that upset you. I feel like I can be maybe vulnerable and say, like, there was a part of me whenever it first started happening where I was like, shit, there's no way. Yeah. You know, but then you look at the statistics and you see
more and more things coming out.
You know, and that was just me, because until the Me Too, and I think this is important too, until the Me Too movement, I, as just a white guy that has lived in the South my whole life, I had no encounter with it. And I had no experience with people who had been assaulted, that had talked about it to me.
That's the beautiful thing about the Me Too movement, is that once it started, you get, and you know, it sucks that the amount of people that have had these experiences was so high. Yeah, but it breaks your heart. Like, if they can talk about this situation, I can talk about mine. Yeah. And then it just keeps going and it keeps going, and now we are in a place where people are more comfortable talking about the trauma that they've experienced and being open, because before the Me Too movement, it was just like, just stop, like, don't talk about this, like that kind of stuff. And now we're more in a place where it was
flipped on them.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're more in a place where you know, I feel like at least that we're becoming more welcoming to it. We want to, if this happens to you, you should feel comfortable. You should feel like you can say something and tell your story and actually get something done about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for far too long it has been too easy to do something like that and get away with it and never have to worry about that again. And that was just not okay.
Yeah. And I think, too, that because of that, and I like to, in having these conversations, it's interesting to think about why it happened for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I think, in just from my perspective alone, not even considering, like, when you look at somebody like, I don't know, just like an older dude,
mm-hmm.
like somebody who's like 45, right? Who has, grown up his entire life loving film, and the narratives that are told him. And the reason I say that is just because of the Hollywood aspect of this conversation, and for him to idolize these people that he's seen in films and the culture of film, for it to kind of be like, hey, there's some fucked up stuff going on. You have people that push back against it because they have had it idolized for so long. Whereas, and this isn't like trying to like tug my own or toot my own horn, where like I was like, in 2016, I was 19.
Mm-hmm.
I was still young. I still am young. I'm not, pretending to be old and wise now. But the conversation was different for me because I hadn't lived 45 years and my perception was completely shattered. It was very like, oh my gosh, it's funny enough, I want to do that. How can I be a part of the conversation that is beneficial?
Yeah.
And then it's, I don't know.
I think a lot of the problem, especially in Hollywood, is there's so much idolization of a person that when things came out, you're like, there's no way that person could do that. There's no way. They are on this pedestal in my head, so naturally they are the way that I think they are in life.
And that's just not true.
Yeah.
People are shitty, and people
are fucked up.
People do bad things, and I think for me it's important to realize that, like, I think it's important to realize just that. Just the simple fact that, like, people are shitty and they do bad things. And just because you see them on your favorite movie or in your favorite series, like, that doesn't mean they haven't done bad things. I think where the conversation goes from now, at least for me, what I think is a difficult thing to wrestle with is, like, what does a second chance look like?
Yeah.
Or what does, this person working again look like?
Mm-hmm.
I think of this is a tinier instance. We talked about it on episode 11, I think. I think we did.
Mm-hmm.
But Screen Junkies, Andy Signore.
Yeah.
He had a bunch of accusations come out. And the reason this conversation is important is, like I said, because things are muddy. Now he started his own channel, and he said, that's false. Those things are false. And it's like, at what point...
Yeah.
The conversation, it's hard, and that's why we're talking about it. It's because it's difficult.
Yeah.
Because whether you want to or not, you do put these people on a pedestal. Mm-hmm. You spend time with them in your homes. Yeah. You watch them at the movies, and it's such a difficult thing to wrestle with. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is that we believe people when they come forward about it. And then from there, you do your due process to get that motherfucker
part.
Behind bars.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There is a process.
Welcome to my TED Talks.
We're still kind of ironing that out, but I do think that we are in a place where we are starting to figure it out.
Yeah.
And starting to learn how we go about this in the right way and how we investigate. I don't know because unfortunately a lot of this is he said, she said, and it's very hard to get concrete facts for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think we've said it many times. People should still be believed.
100%.
You have to hear these people. You have to hear people when they come out and they talk about these things. The 1% to 2% of false claims does not invalidate 98%.
Yeah.
And I think that at the end of the day, like, that is the most important thing that you sit with and that you let really just settle in your mind is that this is still very much a movement that is important. It is not over because of something like this. It is not over when if more of these come to light and more of these happen, because nothing is ever like perfect.
Yeah.
In a sense like this, and I don't know. It's something.
Yeah.